very good decision.
I can't believe they sold out last night. That was insane. There was
bro,
like
it's
13,000, and I went, "Oh man!"
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I think they're gonna go well. They're gonna do well. It's a funny troll. Even the right wing people think it's fucking ridiculous. But I'll tell you this. I've never seen.
I can't believe they sold out.
There
was like
insane. It's obvious.
There was like, and I went,
it's obvious.
And
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I think they're gonna go well. They're gonna do well. It's a funny troll. Even the right wing people think it's fucking ridiculous. I'll tell you this. I've never seen.
I can't believe they sold
But
out.
I'll tell you this. It's obvious. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I think they're gonna go well. They're gonna do well. It's a funny troll. Even the right wing people think it's fucking ridiculous. I'll tell you this. I've never seen.
I can't believe they sold out.
But I'll tell you this. It's obvious. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I think they're gonna go well. They're gonna do well. It's a funny troll. Even the right wing people think it's fucking ridiculous. I'll tell you this. I've never seen.
I can't believe.
Okay. I think that's enough. What's up? Could you hear the music, guys?
Barely. I was just messaging you. So I was like, oh, I can barely hear the music. I could kind of tell. I was waiting for it to shut off, but I couldn't exactly tell when it was going to shut off. How you doing, my man?
Doing good. I'm sorry. I just realized that the people on YouTube might have a little bit of an echo because I was trying to check if the stream was working as well. But guys, we're rookies to this, so let us be. No, let's go. This is innovation on a new level. We're live streaming this on YouTube. It should be able to just play on Twitter right now. So anyone on Twitter can just go and click it and it's live. And we're also, for anyone who want to speak, we have started the stage in our Discord, which is linked on the stream. So you can join Discord and hop up on stage if you want to come speak. Cool. Stallion and Just Enough Coffee. How you doing?
Hey guys, how you doing today?
Keeping it together, kind of, right? I mean, we're trying at them.
I miss my emojis.
I do miss my emojis. I miss them a lot.
Oh, there are emojis on Discord. You can make them in this channel, but there is a way to do it.
No way.
Yeah, you can we did a Vanguard group. We did a group call, and there was like a way to like spam hearts and stuff.
I did not know that. Adam, did you know that?
Maybe we need some more boosters. 30 people. There was 6 people sitting on YouTube. Guys, can you say something in the chat there so I can just know that this is at all working? Because I don't want to open the stream and destroy your day.
I was one of the ones listening, and it sounds good to me.
Should be good. It tells me it's good. We'll see. I've invited. We got Lehman Swap coming in here very soon as well. So we'll have some peace before he comes in. But otherwise, I hope that there is some HBAR people picking up on this so we can get the HBAR, all the usual HBAR people in here. But at the same time, this is a little bit more difficult than just going on the spaces and doing it that way. But I'm impressed. I'm impressed by our engineering work here today. Welcome, guys. All right, so Stallion, what's happening in the gangsters world?
Not a whole lot. Anybody minting anything cool the last couple of days? Any cool mints that might have been on the radar, perhaps?
Bro, I'm waiting for the Returnals on HBAR. That is the next big thing on HBAR, isn't it?
I think it's gonna be good. Yeah, I'm bullish on them. I mean, they're even just their whitelist pass. They did a really great job with that. So if that's any indicator, I also really like their team as people. I've had a number of calls with them. They're partners with Gangsters Paradise. Actually, we're going to be making a gallery HQ for them as well. You know, a project that doesn't really get talked about as much though is the HGraph punks and Turtle Moon and Patches. I mean, Patches is a celebrity. You maybe hear a little bit less talk about the actual projects he's behind. He never shills as well, which is neither here nor there. But Gangsters Paradise has. I don't know if I'm allowed to say any of this yet, but I mean, who's on YouTube, right? So we're making a gallery / HQ for the HGraph punks, and I'll just go ahead and give away the alpha. It's bar themed. We've made a never shill H as well bar that looks like a cool artsy dive bar.
Oh, nice man. So the HGraph punks, but that one is already that one is out. But what you're bullish on it, or what are you telling us, Stallion here?
Oh yeah, I mean I'm not saying like I'll go and bet the farm on them, but rather I think it is a great project. It's a great team, but rather I think that HQ is gonna look really fly, and I'll send you guys some pictures of it early, but we should be releasing that in the not too distant future.
Beautiful. I'm just shooting out.
Sorry, boys. That coffee turned into a latte, so it took me a little. I heard you guys talking about the HGraph punks, though. I know that they are in talks with Upside DAO. So that would be an indicator that they are pursuing a legally backed means of launching a token. Now, I don't know what project they're using. I don't know what project they are using the token for. I don't know if it's going to be under HGraph punks or.
We should say that we don't know for sure as well that there's a token coming.
Adam, by the way, I am the person behind the Lehman Swap Twitter account, if you didn't figure that out. Because you messaged
Holy
me.
Shit.
Yes, oh, fuck.
Holy shit, I had no idea. God damn, he fooled us all along.
They always say coffee. I just read just enough.
So anyways, yeah. Because you were like, I heard you say Lehman Swap's gonna come up, and I was like, dude, I'm already here. But yeah, I don't know what project they're pursuing a token for, but I would say it's a pretty bullish indicator. Working with the Upside DAO, it's not a cheap service. They are top AAA team.
What are they
and
charging?
they have, I believe it's 25 grand a year for their services.
That makes sense if you're staying compliant, I guess.
Well, I mean, they have a lot of Web 2, established companies that they're working with. So in terms of the Web 2 space, with funded, profitable companies, that's peanuts. But of course, Web 3 space, grassroots projects, it's quite expensive. But I know that Patches has built the HGraft.io platform, and that should be relatively lucrative, at least in my opinion. So
I think it's
I
good
don't
to
think he's going to
maybe
issue
do
that cost.
I think it may be worth doing a little bit of an explainer into what the Upside DAO is doing. So I'll just give the brief notes as to what they've done. So effectively, they're using some sort of state precedent and state laws in the American state of Utah. Are you sure? I thought this was a Utah
federal precedent. It's a federal precedent that's set
involving Utah state law.
Farming. Well, they're based in Utah. That's the only thing that's Utah about it. They're all from Salt Lake City Valley. But
thank you for clarifying
that they're
that.
using. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, but rather if you know more about the precedent they're using, that makes sense. Because effectively what they're doing. Oh, and actually, Coffee, you may know better than me the specifics on the precedent. Maybe I'll have you talk to that, and I want to comment on it.
Yeah, sure. So the only reason I've come to learn more about this is actually because I was talking to my brother about it. My brother used to be in this, or he used to work for this service provider for farming co-ops. So that's where the precedent is set. Essentially, there's these co-ops in the farming community where they buy, sell, and trade, a litany of different types of products that would be considered securities on the open market, but they're not because they're individually being sold on or within this group of people. So essentially, it's like an agreement with this farming co-op where if you have membership, you are able to buy, sell, and trade products that would essentially be securities on the open market. So they're taking that precedent, which has nothing to do with farming. It just has to do with co-ops and membership-based co-ops where you can then buy, sell, or trade within that co-op, no matter what the product is. That's just where the precedent was set with farming.
And so then they're using this co-op rule, this co-op loophole to issue project tokens that are effectively sold, I suppose, in theory, exclusively to members. Is that right?
Correct. So they're going to be. I don't know the specifics on how they're going to assign the membership, but essentially they'll have a token, like an NFT, and then their platform would be gated. So you can only access the platform if you hold that membership NFT. And then once you're on the platform, you can essentially do whatever you want. And they're not supposed to be considered a security because it's a members only club or co-op.
So thank you very much for that. Now, just to put and I don't want this to come like So first off, let me start by saying that I think what they're doing is extraordinarily innovative and in a lot of ways brave. And the reason why I say brave is you're essentially, if they become big enough, and if this were to say catch on as a trend, let's say, it's gonna, this legal theory that they're leveraging is it might be put to the test, say, by the SEC. And maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing. It's definitely going to be expensive. The XRP lawsuit, even if they win, over 500 million they've spent on that. So
where do you get that figure? That's insane.
I think that's a real number. I think it's over 500 million in
How long
fighting
has that
the
lawsuit
SEC.
been going on?
Years. I don't know the
500
exact
million.
start date, but
That's
yeah.
insane.
It's ungodly number.
Been almost 10 years. What, 2016,
No, it hasn't been.
17 it started?
Holy shit.
I mean, what? Latest would have been, what,
Let me-
2017?
Let me make sure I'm not talking out of my ass.
Either way, it's been 5+ years. It's been a long time. A long time.
At least
I wanna
500
say
million.
Yeah.
At least 500 million. Yeah, is what
Yeah.
the internet says. So yeah, that's fucking wild. So yeah, that's the thing about let's say groups that are trying to. So Turtle Moon is one of them. Patches at Turtle Moon. They're navigating in the U.S. They're incorporated, I believe, in Wyoming, which is apparently a very, very good state. And by that, I'm not even American. I'm no expert, say, when it comes to like American policy or law. But what I do know is it's and even here in Canada, stuff like margin trading has just recently been made illegal, apparently. So I mean, yeah, there's definitely regulation everywhere, but the United States is like it's like Goliath, and maybe this this co-op loophole, maybe this is the Trojan horse we need, so to speak, to find a precedent that can make issuing of, for lack of better words, tokens that could be argued are securities, say, and sell them in the open market. I think it's really brave, and like I do think that if this were to, like, the best thing that could happen for them is they either stay really small and never get sued, or if they do blow up, like by blow up, I mean get larger, then and they attract the scrutiny of the SEC, then I hope they have really, really, really deep pockets, because that is, like, you can have the best law firms in the world. They're going to be charging you a lot of money for a very long time. And
So
there's
I
already
will say, sorry, go finish.
No, go ahead. No, please.
I was just going to say, I will say that they are working off of the hypothesis that if the SEC does sue them, they would essentially have to sue every farming co-op that exists in the country. So with the precedent that's set, if they go after a co-op, they're going after every co-op. So that's why they are thinking they are going to be more protected than just a single company is.
Now, what would actually be really interesting to see is, and this actually might help with the precedent, imagine if you were to take some farming co-ops and you were to take whatever the offering that they have is, whether it's like some sort of like I don't know exactly what they're trading between each other, say, like some sort of agricultural
Seeds,
commodity,
futures, pretty much anything to do with agriculture. They trade in those co-ops.
Now, what would be huge, and this would really help with the precedent. Imagine if, say, there is a co-op or co-ops that were to come together and say, "Hey, we're going to tokenize our futures. We're going to tokenize our seeds and essentially create maybe something very similar to the Upside DAO, but dedicated for agriculture as a way to one it might end up being ultimately very efficient for them. It might actually create a whole new market for tokenized commodities would be huge. But the other thing that would do is it might help kind of insulate the case. If you can point to like, hey, yes, it's a co-op. Here are these other co-ops that are issuing tokens to represent certain things, and that's exactly what we're doing, but with maybe digital assets or to represent, maybe a utility project token in a project, maybe maybe you can just in this scenario, you can even go as far as to say, yes, this token represents a share in this crypto company, which is, a beat that no one is actually ever willing to come out and say, because that's just directly running headfirst into securities law. You take, for example, I was looking at the platform 1inch the other day. I was doing some swaps on 1inch, and they have a disclaimer that's both on their front end and on chain. So when you go to execute the MetaMask transaction, like you actually see the disclaimer. You're basically saying every time you do a swap on 1inch that you are not a U.S. person, you are not a U.S. entity, and that these funds have nothing to do with the United States. And 1inch being being an aggregator like Lehman Swap as well, they're probably doing the right thing. And sure, maybe Americans are using their platform, but they're doing so in violation of the statute. They're not being advertised to use the service. And I think the reason I bring this up in connection with this is it's probably easier as a crypto project, firm, protocol, whatever you want to call it, NFT, to just reduce your United States exposure or explicitly put it in the terms of service of the protocol that this isn't for US people, lest you draw forth the eye of Sauron and be action by the SEC. So I'm definitely leaning towards that. Of course, projects I'm sure are doing this in consultation with their lawyers, but I'm definitely leaning in favor of just don't have any America exposure whatsoever, and just do everything from a friendlier jurisdiction.
Yeah, our Lehman Swap's not based in the U.S. We will probably have something very similar on our terms of service. It's pretty sad.
There's a good one to read, man. That definitely the 1inch terms
from
are really
1inch.
well thought out.
I'll take a look. It is pretty sad though that we're operating in a quote unquote free society, and meanwhile they're just trying to stifle innovation. So it is something that we always got to keep an eye on, but it's not anything we can control. It's pretty terrifying.
I want to for coffee. How did you had a mint last? What was it? Saturday, right?
Yeah.
How did it go?
Pretty well. We didn't sell out the tier 3s, which are the lower tiers, but the top 2 tiers sold out almost immediately. So that was pretty exciting. We're going to be doing another round. I think we talked about doing the 21st, but I think we're going to push it back a week and just do the 28th. Let people enjoy their Christmas with their families, and then do it in between Christmas and New Year's.
Good. It gets very comfy in here, isn't it? Like, okay, so on Spaces, when we're on Spaces, it always gets a little bit crowded. I guess there's a lot of people jumping up and down, a lot of people, a lot of hands. Like in here, it's very comfy. We could just hang out. We should do YouTube more often.
Yeah, this is more like a podcast.
Yeah,
than it is spaces are very hectic.
This is a really interesting format. I would say the one thing I definitely do miss the emojis. Like it's fun to throw up laughing emojis while you're talking,
Yeah.
If you're in the
or
audience,
when TK is talking.
the audience can put up emojis, but I don't think we can as speakers for some reason. Or maybe it's just because this is this isn't a voice channel. This is what do they call this channel? This is a stage channel.
Discord stage.
Yeah,
Yeah. The
yeah. If we were on
emo
a,
is like we're
if
spoiled
we
with
were on a
those now.
voice channel, if you're on a voice channel, then I think you can put up emojis, but that means that anyone would be able to unmute themselves. So this is more appropriate for what we're doing, I would say.
So did you guys see this? Speaking of Solana, though, have you guys seen the Radium exploit?
Yes, I saw that. Holy fuck, dude.
What happened?
No, they got hacked, right?
When did this happen? Last night?
Just seen it in the news this morning when I woke up. So probably over the last 12 hours or so.
How much was stolen?
Let me see. Okay, so
Where'd you see this, on CoinDesk?
This is from just somebody. Oh, actually, it's on the Radium. So the handle is Radium Protocol at Radium Protocol on Twitter, and it says an exploit on Radium is being investigated that affected liquidity pools. Details to follow, as more is known. So it seems this is from a commenter. There seems to be a wallet that is draining LP pools from Radium liquidity pools using admin wallet as the signer. Sketchy. Inside job. Only way, by the way. That's the only way that happens. Inside job. Admin wallet as the signer without having burning LP tokens. We withdrew. Yeah. That's super sketchy, guys. It's super sketchy. It's the number one DEX, I think. Top DEX on Solana.
Yeah, definitely.
I was just gonna say, didn't they have another one that got exploited recently as well?
DEX. I'm not a. Adam, maybe you know better than me.
No, I don't think so.
What was
there was a wallet. Oh, right. There was the Mango thing. I think Mango was lending protocol or something like that.
Yes,
okay, so that's not a DEX.
Those are so vulnerable. These lending protocols are. Even a really well-engineered one can be vulnerable to flash loan attacks. So there's all sorts of shit that can happen. Let alone just plain old admin key corruption type stuff. That's what we see with this. Frankly, you shouldn't even have a protocol where you can withdraw from an LP using admin keys. That in and of itself is sketchy, but it's definitely not a. Solana keeps getting kicked in the teeth. I'm afraid, and I want to see the protocol do well. I don't want to see. I'd like for all of these protocols to adapt, especially the ones that have strong communities, to adapt and evolve and to keep with the times. And I do think there's a place for Solana long term. But this stuff is it's definitely, maybe it's a bump in the radar, or it's a bump in the road rather, blimp in the radar. Not a big deal, but it's still not great, especially for the people affected.
It felt like Solana were slowly claiming the spot of the brands, right? And the use cases, and just especially big brands landing on Solana. But now it's all Polygon, all these people, Trump, for example.
Toys R Us, what you know? Saw TK fighting Toys R Us, and I was like, bro, we need exit liquidity, bro. Let's not fund them too early.
Dude, Toys R Us has got Legos and Nerf guns.
Bro, that
do they own Legos?
Be rugged again.
No, they don't own Legos. I'm just saying they sell them.
No, that would be a good brand to own.
Hey,
Lego NFTs would be huge, dude. I don't know why they don't pursue that.
This Trump NFT thing has been kind of wild.
Yo, who minted or did you guys check out who's got a founder's card for Earthlings? Stanley, you got one, right?
I sold mine for Trump NFTs.
Unbelievable. You missed the drawing for the.
I had to do it. I was not gonna put any more stable coins into NFTs, and I was like, this Trump thing is gonna do well. Good decision. I actually bought my Trump NFT submit. By the way, just want to stay. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm Canadian.
How many did you get?
I've never voted for conservative in my life. I have 11 of them. And I was able to get just about all of them sub mint price. These dip below, I think these went as low as like sub $50 at one point. I didn't buy the bottom of the dip or anything, but like I remember going to bed last night and I was like, oh fuck, rugged again. Like this Trump thing is a rug. Like I'm down bad, and then I woke up and I was up like close to 2x. So that was the way.
Did you guys see the video he made?
I thought it was a deep fake. I didn't even think it was real. I was like, how is this a thing?
That's what
I was like,
I was thinking as well. Like there was no.
I mean, it's a blatant cash grab. It's probably nothing is going to come of it. I would definitely not recommend buying them. But at the same time, and this is purely as a speculator, and like definitely again, just saying for the record, not a fan of the guy, not a fan of his politics, not even a citizen of his country. But if you just look at the amount of attention that it's getting, there's people clowning on it. It's the thing is you can clown on it all day and night, and the thing is it's going to bring attention to it. Like it's a genuinely funny story. Like it's fucking Trump made silly ass NFTs. Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think maybe he's doing this to poke the bear? Because I mean, I think
somebody came to him, but this is what happened. I'm guessing. So he actually doesn't own the rights to the NFTs. He sold his likeness to a company that's doing all this. So they made, just in cash, they made $6.5 million yesterday. Or no, no. $4.5 million? $4.5 million. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just mint funds.
Mint funds. Now they have made about 100. They've made over 150 ETH in royalties. So they've made approaching 200 something thousand, roughly US dollars in royalties alone in the first 24 hours. That's wild numbers. So if somebody came to Trump with like a $10 million bag or $20 million bag, and rather this is the first collect. It doesn't say this is the Trump trading card. This is the first. So that means they're going to keep grabbing cash. And the thing is, people are going to keep minting them. Like you had to KYC to mint, by the way, which is silly.
I heard that they required like entire face scan just to mint it.
Yeah, that's. But the thing is, you could buy them sub mint anyway, and sure, the thing that got me was you could have bought one of the one of ones for like sub 1 ETH at the start of yesterday, and I was like, I'm just gonna go with floors, and those are now like well over 10 ETH each. So the move was to buy the one of ones, but I mean it's novel. It's 45,000. It's the biggest. And by the way, I think they have set records at least as far as. So there's right now there are 15,034 unique holders of these NFTs. So that's just over a 33% unique ownership rate for a project this large. That's it's insane. The fact that they were able to mint out it's not like there was any hype around this mint either. Not like they've been like hyping it up for weeks. Trump came out dropped a 45,000 collection NFT, made a bag for whatever company this is that's owning it, and the unique ownership rates are going up and up and up and up. Okay, it's people are like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna hold on to one of these. Maybe they go to 1 ETH floor or something. I have no idea whether or not that's gonna happen. These could well go to 0. But the reason why, again, as a speculator, I'm holding on to a reasonable bag of these is because just the sheer amount of attention, the sheer amount of volume, the novelty of it. Like, I mean, there's like roughly 80 million people that voted for this guy last cycle. You don't think there's going to be another 15,000 or 100,000 of them that want to buy one of these NFTs on the secondary market? And it's not like he's out there pumping it either. Like, plus,
I read someone.
Go ahead.
I read someone yesterday. They said that you should buy a Trump NFT right now because the Trump supporter is still busy calling the grandkids and kids how to turn on the computer. I was dying, dude.
It's
No,
true,
but you're right, Sally.
It's like, and plus, like, it's not like, even though the actual value of these, if you were to actually take, so let's say it's up a little bit more than 2x mint price in US dollar terms. Like, so let's say the market cap for these right now is about 10 million. Like, there's not going to be some Saudi prince or princes that are not like, oh, well, let's ingratiate ourselves to the former leader. It's like, oh, I buy 1,000 Trump NFT. And then they're like, yeah. By the way, you get to fucking meet him if you buy 45 of them.
Whoa! Is that what?
Yeah,
Real?
guaranteed. So there's a bunch of sweepstakes and like chances to Zoom call and stuff. But if you're holding 45 of these, you get to go have dinner with him at Mar-a-Lago. And
that's so crazy.
It's pretty wild.
That's so crazy.
So the cost of dinner with him yesterday was $4,500. You could have gotten it as cheap as $2,000 for the Trump dinner at let's say the bottom floor price. That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. So there's, and that's also as far as utilities go. If you are somebody that likes this guy and wants to have dinner with him, yeah, you're gonna, even if it costs $10,000 right now to buy the 45 NFTs, you're gonna do it. I think.
Yeah, I mean, this is like what
Galaxy's.
This is like what Galaxy is doing, but they're adding a token to it.
I think it's like, honestly, I think it's good for the space.
Thing.
I think it's good for the space. I think it onboards people. And by the way, when it comes to NFTs, I could care less what people's political views are, and more interested in onboarding and expanding.
That's a very good point. The amount of people that either that company that bought his likeness or him brought into the cryptocurrency space, either to meme or to troll or to bash him, just the fact that they're saying it's an NFT, more people are going to look into that now. Be like, what is this dumbass doing? Or, oh, what is this amazing guy doing? Or to anywhere in between. People are going to be saying the word NFT, which is great for all of us on every blockchain, even though it was on Polygon.
Yeah.
It was on Polygon, but it's bringing people to the whole ecosystem as a whole. Like, just like you said, Stallion, political opinions aside, who gives a fuck about that? Or that company or whoever did that with that man's face is bringing them to the ecosystem, which is dope. Which, like you said earlier, exit liquidity.
Yeah, and there's got to be thousands of people that have, set up a MetaMask, set up a.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it's not easy to set up a Polygon. Like, if you've never done any of this, so the people that actually made it that far, it's not like you're gonna Like once you've learned that process, it's not like you're like, oh, let me just buy this one NFT and never fuck with this technology again. Like
Exactly.
setting up MetaMask. Like if you can actually figure out how to set up MetaMask, how to add Polygon to it. If you can then figure out, oh, I need to send Matic and then either send ETH wrapped Matic to the wallet or go to a DEX and swap for Matic ETH. If you can actually figure out all of that shit, the amount of individual, let's say, like pieces of knowledge that you would acquire from having, let's say, no knowledge of crypto or NFTs to doing all the steps required to actually do that.
Setting up a wallet, like that is huge. Even if you didn't buy the NFT, even if you KYC'd or set up a wallet or anything, or if you just got on crypto Twitter to learn about it, like that is fucking huge. That is great. Like he's making NFTs great. You know, we're making NFTs great again. That's what matters here.
Well, I mean, how many people do you
Our
really
YouTube
think
has just been taken offline.
Oh wow, you think it was because we talked about?
No, I'm sure. So right now there are
Finish your YouTube.
15,039 unique holders of this NFT, which is again record setting.
15,000 on a 45K. So even if 3,000 people came over to buy those, learned how to buy that. When was the last time anything brought 2K or 1,000 people? When was the last event that brought maybe 1,000 new users?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm not convinced it brought anybody. I think it definitely, after the fact, increased exposure tremendously to a lot of people that weren't paying attention. And they may buy from secondary markets, but for the actual mint, I'd be very surprised if it brought anybody.
Oh, even if it
wasn't already
with the sheer scale of it, there are tens of millions of people that are aware of this. So even if it brought 0.01% of the people that heard about it, you've still onboarded a couple thousand.
The meme ability. Have you actually looked at them? It's like they're
fucking hilarious.
Memes.
Yeah.
It's like they were meant to be memes. You printed your own Trump meme card. Like you minted your own meme. All you got to do is write whatever words around it you want. I think it was genius. Like, oh, here you go, $100 Trump meme, $100 Trump meme.
He also announced this on some weird social media that he has. I don't know. It wasn't Twitter. It was some other one. And he was.
He doesn't fuck with Twitter. Could you imagine if he got his Twitter account back? He's not touched it since. Could you imagine if he had fucking tweeted this out on Twitter? Imagine if that was his first tweet back. This thing goes to. By the way, I do think that these are just expect all this shit goes to zero. Just putting that out there.
Yes.
But
sure.
Just to put that out, don't buy this. Just gonna don't buy it. Yeah, but it would not surprise me if on its way to zero, if there was some sort of catalyst like that. Like let's say Trump looks at it and he's like, huge volume, like price up, like I'm gonna start, pumping your bags. Like if he starts actually talking about it and that gets attention, then who knows? Maybe it does have a further run, or maybe the top is in now. Hard to say.
Well, it's definitely going to go up when he runs for president.
I think he's announced.
Sure. Well, yeah,
I'm just saying, as the
Ruffy's rally and stuff.
As soon as it gets closer,
I would never want to be. I would never sell all of mine. I would always.
Oh, you gotta keep
the
best meme one.
Yeah.
The best meme one that you have as a forever is when it's worth literally zero. You'll be like, I remember that.
MFers were listing really rare shit subfloor. Like people just don't know. That was so I was like rarity sniping, all last night.
That's so weird. Were they just immediately trying to flip it, or do you think they were trying to wreck the floor?
I do think that too. By the way. I do think
could have been both. Yeah, I can see that.
there was definitely some behavior while I was watching the for lack of a better word, like NFT order book last night. That struck me as, oh, that guy's not just trying to exit. That guy's listing too far below the current floor for it to actually make sense to list at that point.
Yeah, I could see that being what they were doing, trying to drop the floor to make it so that it isn't successful.
It's a narrative because if you can spend like to some of these people spending $100,000 to fuck with the Trump NFT is not a that ain't no thing. But
they underestimated
they underestimated the demand. Like, because had the story been like, oh, Trump launches NFT and it drops 90%, like that's a funny narrative. Like, and that would have been, that would have been the troll. But if the narrative becomes Trump launches NFT and everybody's up 10x, then people are like, oh shit, maybe we need to buy the NFT, which nobody would buy.
No, there was a lot of people who got mad because he said, like, on his social media, I can't remember the name, but he said, like, okay, I have a big announcement.
Truth Social, yeah.
Truth Social. I have a big announcement to make. So people thought it was like political. He was gonna drop some political stuff, and he was like, I'm dropping my NFT collection.
I mean, it's a big announcement. It's a big announcement for NFTs. Maybe not for the country.
People were probably thinking like some QAnon thing, and then it just turns out to be an NFT.
Can you imagine if there were QAnon traits?
Oh,
that would be really funny. Oh, that would have been really, really funny.
That would have been super.
If they took like the troll to the next level. There should have been a wall. Maybe there is a wall NFT. I've not seen any wall NFTs. There should have been wall NFTs. I've not actually looked at the canon of artwork that has been produced here, but I imagine that there's probably some funny ones in the mix.
No, there were some cool ones. I like the golf ones. There was a golden like one-on-ones. Yeah, there. If you like that.
Yeah, those one-on-ones were the move.
Yes, for sure.
Imagine that this was just a plan to blacklist all of the wallets that participated.
Right, I was just thinking that too, because you had a KYC.
Oh, I don't know those people. I mean, apparently, yeah, it was a relatively rigorous KYC process too. Not a lot of people are going to be KYCing to mint, but people did, and they've done well, especially the ones. But really, the play was snipe the rares subfloor, because I believe I was able to get my average purchase price to be subfloor. Not subfloor, excuse me, submit. And that is the way. Like, sure, you're risking not getting the 101s, but yeah, it's crazy times. But like, I would buy Barack Obama NFT. That I would buy.
What do you guys think about Binance?
Oh man, I mean, it's probably smart advice to. Just 1 second.
Did you guys see him tank that interview?
Oh, that was bad. It was kind of, the clips we've seen are kind of deceptively edited, and like, yeah, it's like, is Binance ready for a $2.1 billion clawback? By the way, their corporate structure is it's wrapped in like, there's so many different corporate wrappers for stuff. Good luck clawing back $2.1 billion from Binance. They're not even going to know which legal entity to subpoena for that. Yeah, Binance is smart, and CZ is smart. There's definitely a lot of Binance FUD right now. The narrative is, oh, it's not FTX's fault. It's Binance, like big bad Binance. Which, by the way, Binance did cause this cascade. That is true. But Binance, cascade would not have happened. No. It was directly the only reason all of this happened was the price of the FTT token fell below the margin call price loans that FTX had against it. Were they doing shady stuff with customer funds? Yes. Were they violating the terms of service? Not necessarily clear if they were, actually. It's probable that their terms of service were arranged in such a way that they could do whatever the fuck they wanted to with your money, and call it whatever, if you want to call that, shady, illegal, malicious. Probably, I'm sure they're going to find a million crimes that were committed there, and good riddance as far as that's concerned. We don't like the sketchy practices. But the FTX would have carried on for years and years, would not have seen any of this had it for CZ dumping tokens in a visibly, nakedly predatory way that's going to earn him the ire of a bunch of different worldwide regulators that are going to come after Binance and come after CZ personally in a big way for his direct involvement. You can't just tweet,
CZ
I'm
brought
dumping
in all
$500 million.
fight,
Yeah.
But I mean, what they were doing. I mean, if this wouldn't have got brought to light now, if 6 months, a year from now, how much more money would have been lost? Because
The thing is, they could have bought the token. The thing is as well, the thing is, yeah, they could have bought all of the tokens that CZ was dumping, had they sold it to him, or had CZ been willing to sell.
Alameda could.
Which, I mean, at this point, you got to consider those the same thing. You got to consider those companies the same almost, and even though maybe they're not supposed to be, they're working as one. They're two arms of the same entity. They're all part of the same polycule.
Them buying it would have been fraud in the first place.
Nope.
Would have been
Alameda. Funds. No. Which apparently they were allowed to use. Like they had whatever clause, whatever they were doing, they were allowed to use them. But as far as their terms of service led on, even if like it says, we are not using.
Law anyways.
Well, against Bahamian law. That's the thing. Like I mean, none of this happened in the United States, so that's the other thing. Like Binance.com is not is a complete separate thing from Binance US. So you gotta, honestly, with all of that, you do have to take the United States legal system out of the picture for a second when you're discussing these things. What this was you had an exchange operating in a very favorable jurisdiction and doing really maybe immoral, unethical things that they perhaps weren't advertising. But I'm telling you guys, if you were to peel back the onion, you would see that the consumers had agreed to exactly what was being done. Whether it was being clearly stated, whether they had publicly said they're doing something else, I'm pretty sure that they kept everything within the terms of service. But again, this is to say that this whole cascade was like, people clown on Kevin O'Leary for saying like, oh, this was Binance's doing. It was Binance's doing. To anybody that was following that event in real time, the shot heard around the world was CZ's tweet and the transaction transferring $500 million worth of FTT tokens over. Alameda then offered to purchase those tokens, which would have been better for Binance, better for the whole ecosystem. The market was actually looking really, really bullish up until this event transpired. So yeah, CZ gets a lot of blame, and I actually think that the way he orchestrated that off is probably more illegal from a legal sense than anything FTX was doing. And naked.
Why is it illegal?
Naked market manipulation.
I mean, how is that market manipulation? Because his market sold all of his tokens.
To the way he publicly, it was a public execution. He's gonna get fucked for that.
How is that illegal?
It's totally illegal. You couldn't, for example, Elon Musk come out and say, I'm done a bunch of Tesla stock before. He has to dump the Tesla stock and then follow the proper things. You can't come out and say, it's illegal to come out and say you're about to sell a whole bunch of something. That's you're not allowed to do that.
I don't think because that's a negative for them. It would have been better for them to sell it and then announce it. So I don't see how that could be.
No, it would have been better. No, exactly. That it doesn't matter if it's better or worse. The announcement to sell, the way that it was done, that is illegal. It's because now the reason it's worse than had they just sold and then made announcements about having sold was you'd because it wasn't Binance selling their tokens. It was the fact that everyone was now front running Binance to sell the tokens. Much like if Elon were to have come out and said, I'm selling $3.6 billion worth of tokens, the price of Tesla would have gone down much, 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 much more because everybody would be front running to sell. Everybody would be short selling, say. And everybody did short sell. So
that's my point.
That's why it's illegal. Even though it's even though you think because the company is making net less dollars, sure Elon would be making net less dollars, the impact on the token price or the stock price is worse. But it has nothing to do with the dollars made. It has nothing to do with he would have made less money if he did it this way. That's not how the law works. It's illegal because it was naked market manipulation. It was announcing a major sell-off of a token with, clear intent. And he actually, he damned himself with some of the other tweets around why he's doing it. Like he made it a personal vendetta. And he made it like, this company's doing bad things.
Do we have these regulations in crypto at the time, and especially in the countries that these guys are registered, right?
That's the thing. Probably not. So as far as that might be in the framework of maybe U.S. and EU law, perhaps. Was what CZ did illegal in his jurisdiction? I actually think probably not. I think that probably was okay, but that does not mean that the SEC and the United States are not going to take criminal sanctions against CZ personally and Binance as a whole. I think that's probably the likely outcome of this is CZ can never go to America. They would arrest his ass immediately, I think. Mm-hmm. So you're never gonna see him in America again. But yeah, they're definitely gonna come after him from a legal stance. Whether or not he's smart enough and well insulated enough to avoid all of that, I actually think that's probably the case. But it spells bad news for Binance. If Binance as an exchange probably doesn't go away. But Binance US might, or they may end up ceasing all US operations after this if they make it really, really difficult for them to operate in that country. There'll be other countries that follow suit behind that, making Binance either expressly illegal or really difficult to operate. So Binance as a whole will contract. People are going to continue with remove deposits. There's going to be a lot of legal FUD coming their way. And they're going to get a lot of lawsuits, particularly from the United States. He's going to be subpoenaed to testify in Congress. Of course, he's not dumb. He's not going to step foot on U.S. soil ever again.
TK, can you bring Jack?
I see Jack. Let's bring Jack up. I'd love to get his.
I cannot bring him up. Can you do it, TK?
It says invite to speak. I invited him. I don't see a request though.
Yeah, I see he's raising his hand.
Jack, we invited you up. Invite to speak. Oops. Sorry, I might have taken you down again.
Attaboy, Adam. Attaboy.
There we go. Hey, Jack, how you doing?
What's up, Jack?
Got the whole gang here now.
We have 1,500 listeners on YouTube.
What did I miss? So, like, what's going on with Binance and CZ?
Oh, I guess he was on what was it, MSNBC or what news?
I think
I can't remember
CNBC or something like that. I think
Yeah, one of those.
The Jim Cramer channel.
And what?
Strong buy.
Jim
Jim Cramer was
It just looked bad. It looked bad. I'll tell you, by the way. So I do think that Binance is ultimately going to be fine, and that this is FUD. Like I was in a group yesterday, and I said I put the odds of it surviving are 97+% that it gets through this without any issue. So that doesn't mean you shouldn't, be taking self-custody of your coins, but it's definitely not. It's definitely going to be a struggle for them, and they're definitely catching a lot of FUD. The thing the one thing though that did cause me concern, like I could kind of just like, oh, this is FUD, it's nonsense. Like Binance is one of the safest platforms out there. The reason why I have a bit of concern genuinely was the reluctance to do a Big Four audit. And also I saw that they had their auditor had essentially fired them as a client recently. They don't want that attention. That I understand that, by the way. I definitely understand it from the auditor's perspective. Let's say if you run an auditing firm, you really want to get involved with this shit, with this whole, you want to be out of this news cycle. You don't want any liability if for whatever reason, like Binance was, giving you bad information, because that operation is so complex that, I mean, at the end of the day, the auditors in some aspects taking their word for certain things. But I would like to see that Big Four audit. I would like to see Deloitte do an audit. I think that would be good. But I don't think they're going to do it.
No, they will not do it. Sorry, guys. I'm here now. I don't think.
What's good, Jack?
The auditor. Hey, guys. Hey, Italian. The auditor has not only left Binance, but the auditor has ties with a lot of other firms as well. So it's not just Binance. On the second point, on the Big Four is not ready. They don't have the auditing system to do DeFi auditing entirely. So therefore, they're not positioned enough to audit the crypto companies at this point, or accounting for crypto companies.
And they probably don't want to have that type of magnifying glass on them to begin with. Although, I mean, fuck that though. They have to do something. They have to do something.
In 2008, if you look at a lot of the Big Four companies did audit Lehman Brothers as well, and all they got are the wrist, a fine on the wrist. That's it, a slap on the wrist, as they say. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We thought FTX was safe at this point. Looking at everything, they don't know who to trust, who do not trust. Do I think Binance can go down? Just by looking at the personality of that guy, he's a smart operator. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he may not be able to say a whole lot of stuff because of legal reasons at this point, and because of his involvement with the FTX, he may not be able to say a lot of stuff. And the questions that they ask, like I was looking at the interview that CNBC conducted with Binance yesterday. It was like there was this TV anchor. She was asking CZ if do you have the funds. He said we have the funds and everything. He said, do you have if they ask you to pay FTX $2.5 billion, would you pay? He said, I would like lawyers to get involved in that case. So the whole interview felt like, from the outset, it looked like that CZ is not answering clearly whether
Binance's have all the funds or all the reserves to take care of all the customers in case there's a bank run. But what really meant was that Binance is okay, but when it comes to FTX, to return money to FTX for its bad debts, then you won't want to pay $2.5 billion just for selling tokens. It was very unclear, but I don't know. I cannot say anything at this point. Because we had belief that FTX was good and this little 29-year-old boy would save crypto. And here we are, a month later. So I don't know. I simply don't know. Sorry. That's all I got to offer.
Fuck. I thought you would know, Jack. You usually know everything.
I mean, that's the mistake that I made. Sometimes not knowing, ignorance is bliss. And I'm trying to be as ignorant in this as possible because anything could happen. But if Binance goes down, hands down, we're back to 2011 of crypto. For sure.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I'm happy.
Because Binance is 10 times bigger than FTX. If FTX, for every dollar that happened on FTX, they were close to about $15, even in the bear markets, used to happen. That is the ratio that you compare.
Yeah. I withdrew every last penny I had on Binance. I hope.
I'm depositing Binance. I'm depositing in Binance. I'm saying if this has to go down, happy days of life. Go.
That's
Tomorrow,
true. There's nothing to withdraw if they go down either way.
Leave or Chainbreakers NFT will live for the rest of our lives on a blockchain as long as there's one node working, and that's it. Then it's all done. It was nice knowing you all. I'll see you in a Web2 tech startup. I'll be applying for jobs.
Starbucks, baby. So Stallion, like you said, okay, so it's CZ's fault. Like, okay, and he got this deal by FTX to sell it to them. But at the same time, like, what should he have done? Because he knew about this, right? They were fiffling with customer funds.
That's actually not why he was dumping. The reason why CZ was dumping, and this speaks to the fact that SBF was the number 2 largest donor to the Democratic Party, and apparently he's given a fair amount of money to Bunny on both sides. But he comes from a Democrat family, so he figured he could buy protection from both sides. And maybe to some degree he did. Like, it took them a while to arrest his ass. But, that only goes so far, I suppose. So he was a huge donor of, let's say, campaign funding. And one of the things he was lobbying for was effectively regulations that would push Binance and CZ out of the U.S. market so that FTX could, further monopolize the United States market. And CZ caught wind of this and decided, you know what, fuck this guy, fuck FTX, we're just gonna take him out. And he took him out. He did it. Like you would just look at cause and effect. You could say, oh, CZ wasn't trying to take out FTX. Yes, he was. Like, CZ is not a dumb guy. CZ knew exactly what he was doing, and I don't accept for a second that exactly what went down wasn't 100% deliberate and 100% the desired result. Maybe it had more contagion than they thought it would. CZ was out to kill FTX, and I do think that's and that is what happened. He initiated the cascade. The cascade happened, and whether the fallout from it was as desired, the thing is, like, if you If you roll around in the mud with a pig, you're gonna get dirty. And CZ got in the mud, and now there's a lot of dirt on Binance now. Like, he played dirty, and now he's gonna be played dirty by the feds.
But apart from like all the tokens going to zero, wasn't that a good thing that it wiped out that year?
No, it was terrible for the market. Terrible
Yeah,
for
it was
crypto.
terrible
Probably
for the
killed.
short term,
Probably
but it would have
took
happened
years
anyway.
out of the market. I don't know. That's the thing I'm not sure about. I don't know
it
it would
would
have
have
happened
happened.
anyway.
Yeah, it would have happened because they were. See, the problem that everybody keeps on saying, I would highly disagree with what you just said, only because of one reason, is because the story goes back at the start of the FTX. CZ was one of the first investors in FTX. Now, when you're investing in FTX, FTX was supposed to build some sort of an OTC enterprise product for Binance. And they said, okay, we're going to do this. The bull run happened, and the guy was playing around, SBF, and he said, I'm going to beat CZ in its own game. Now imagine there was a clear conflict of interest. Like, you've taken money from your investor to build a product out that was for the enterprise market, and now you're basically going head to head with your own investors company. Now, obviously, anybody would say, like, what the hell are you trying to do? I invested in this company in good faith. Now you're doing this. Obviously, I cannot do anything about it. So if you want to compete on a level playing field, let's compete on the level playing field. So that's where the real rift between the two guys, two friends, essentially, or two founders of different companies started to happen, which was really wrong, bad faith. But that shows this kind of integrity. So the point that I'm trying to make, this would have happened anyways, because the guy was playing with customers' funds. The guy was playing with your funds. So how long do you think this would have lasted? And taking stupid bets. Imagine if you have the whole chart with you, what bets somebody is placing, and you are so dumb that you exactly know what people's bets are at this point, what's exactly the outcome's going to happen, and you couldn't actually. You've seen, it's like poker, right? You've seen everybody's cards and still you're not able to win. That is how stupid FTX was, or Alameda was. So this would have happened anyway. I don't think it's CZ's fault in any way. Personally, I don't believe in heroes. I don't particularly like anybody. Yeah, I've nothing to pick. But I'm glad it happened today rather than a year later. So this is a lesson to be learned, essentially. I'm so happy. If this would have happened a year ago, I would have been even better, because that means less people would have been impacted by this. So sooner, earlier these things happen, the better it is for the whole industry.
Yeah, I'm willing to agree. Was a lot of shady stuff going on in that exchange. What's up? I see Franz and Gaze got up as well.
What up, guys?
What's up, man?
We got no emojis in here, man.
No, it's a little bit, but it's been
bottom of
nice.
the barrel.
It's been nice. We have been connecting here. This has been really nice. But I missed the emojis. I'm with you.
Yeah,
It's
it was
working
what I
bad,
was looking. Sorry. It was what I was looking at when Jack was speaking. I was trying to find 100 emoji.
Yeah, no emojis. No emojis. Yeah. Dude, if they give me Bitcoin to 30K, I'd rather take that than emoji.
Sorry, guys. I've been quietly listening and eating lunch at the same time. Jack, there's a few things you said. Some I agree with, some I disagreed with. When you were talking about the big four auditing firms, I thought Deloitte audited Coinbase.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, but there's a difference. There's a difference. Coinbase is a regulatory company. It's an IPO company. They have board of directors. It does everything off chain. It's a centralized exchange. It does not do anything. Whereas Binance and both FTX are effectively, they have their own token. They have their own chains. So they don't have to do an IPO.
Well, isn't the DeFi arm of Coinbase separate than their centralized exchange?
No, I think it's both are the same. Everything is the same. So a Coinbase is think of, there is no difference between Coinbase and Tesla. There is no difference. Hence why it has to follow the same procedural structure, because it had to do it had to follow all the regulatory structure, just like Gemini did, because it would have done that before IPOing. Before the IPO, they would have had to file everything with SEC in order to do that. So yes, it's easier to do for Coinbase as opposed to Binance. Binance will never do an IPO because their IPO already happened with their BNB token. Similarly, FTX kind of IPO'd with their FTT token. So both are very different companies, although they have the same operational structure, but both are very different.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say about that, though, is the BNB token does not represent equity in Binance. And while you're right that Binance will not maybe do any type of public offerings of equity, say, they could definitely still sell their Binance equity on the private market, separate from their token.
That is correct. So, like, everybody is following a different structure. Like BNB is effectively for their Binance Smart Chain. FTX did not have a blockchain for themselves, and therefore it's very different. But yeah, totally. Every company is following a different structure.
Now, what I'd love to get Jack's feedback on and thoughts on is this Radium exploit today. Do you think it was an inside job? What do you think that was about?
Well, before we move on from BNB, I wanted to ask one more question on that, if I could.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
So you're saying the whole complication with auditing Binance is the fact that they have their own token BNB as well as BUSD. I mean, I feel like the only thing that they're trying to prove with this audit is that Binance is holding customer assets 1-to-1, and they're not commingling their assets with their customer assets. So why would the Binance token complicate that?
No, I think to answer simply, the point that I was trying to make before was very different. To answer this question, I would simply say that it's not trying to figure out whether you're commingling funds or not. But Binance has already shown the proof of reserves. It simply means how much money is deposited. You can see that in DeFi Llama now, you can see that in CoinGecko. What needs to be published, that's what everybody is saying as well, what needs to be published, that what are your liabilities? Your liabilities are basically any debt that you have against. So for example, right now, let's say 1-to-1 method, Binance could show $60 billion. These are all the customers' funds that is within deposited in exchange. People who are trading, who have made some sort of a future or perhaps bets, whatever that is. That is already available. But what about any investment out of those reserves? How much has already been committed to some project, for example, that is owed to a different project, that is owed as a part of some sort of a token unlock that is about to happen, and that is, so those are liabilities that needs to, anytime you've taken
so essentially they're trying to, we're trying to find out whether or not they're using their customer funds as collateral.
Possibly. That would clear up. That will clear up a lot of stuff. So the proof of liabilities is what is missing from every single centralized exchange that exists. Although, yeah, that's the only thing. Reserve is one thing, but you need the other side of assets. That's effectively assets, but you need proof of liability as well. How much liability do you have? How many bets you have made that that needs to transpire in future, or any collateral,
Right.
or like you said, any debt that you have in your account, whether you've taken a loan or something. Those loans. So, for example, Binance could have taken $20 billion out of against their own structure from China or any other stuff. Now, those are effectively liabilities that you need to, either you have to pay the interest month on month, or you effectively have to pay that loan somehow. So, for example, if the customer, one-to-one customer sends 60 billion and your liability is 20 billion, that means you can only return customers 40 billion of funds. There's a hole of 20 billion that still needs to be filled in. So that's
Right.
what's missing.
So essentially, we have the proof of reserves. We just don't know if that has collateral, or if it's being used as collateral, which would be what FTX was doing.
Or any other bad debt that they have, or any other.
Yeah, but I don't think.
Have.
But does it really matter how the company itself is doing? Because even if it goes bankrupt, the company or the customer funds would still be able to be replaced one-to-one. So they would be able to pay everyone out and just go out of business. I mean, that's the issue that,
in theory, if they're being truthful, which is why
right,
the audit
well,
is so important.
Yeah, as long as they're not using customer funds as collateral, nothing else really matters. As long as it's completely separate from their debts.
If I tell you the truth, in one of the most simplest ways, even if you have, so even if there's a bank run, for example, 80% of the customer withdraws, even if you have the funds to cover for 80% of the customers, is going to be still okay in life. The reason you can run AI algorithms, and you would have found out at any given point in time, hourly, daily, Thursday evening, Sunday morning, Monday afternoon, what is the state of your, because they've been running it for past 5 years. So they would have some sort of a predictive analysis. How much reserves do you actually need to surface within the exchange? Obviously, and the rest of money can essentially be used either as a collateral or to make some sort of a long directional bet that they want to make. That's what I would have done, honestly. I would have measured how much funds do we need, because we are outside regulation, right? So I can make my own rules, but I need to make sure that everything is done nicely, so that even if there's a bank run, I still have 80%. As long as I think you have 80% of funds to cover 80% of the users, you should be okay. That's what I believe, but I could be missing.
I mean,
and I'm not very smart.
I mean, they have their own token, two tokens. Like, why would they even bother? They have the profit from the exchange itself,
Yeah.
and then they have the token that they created, 2 tokens that they created. I guess the stable coin, you can't really get much. I mean, there's still profit off of that, but I just don't understand what they would need to use customer funds for.
So you need,
Unless
so
they
basically they would, so in the simplest way that I see right now, on daily basis, if let's say you're making about $10 million and you're expanding in different countries, you're signing up new countries like Saudi Arabia, they want to be big in the Middle East, and you want to do a whole lot of investments within the startup ecosystem. Hey, you could spend money as a company who is hell-bent on expanding. You could burn through cash on daily basis, especially in a growing industry that they're in. And so even if you have all the profits and everything, I think you can spend close to about $100 million every month on your overall investments that you're trying. Overall investments as well as the expansions that you're trying to make, plus new different products would have been setting up, right? This is a very opportunity-driven industry at this point. So
who else thinks CZ is running Pancake Swap?
I don't think. Good joke. Good joke. Who wants to run Pancake Swap?
Right. Sorry, Stallion. I know I cut you off there, and that went a lot longer on a little tangent there.
Oh, no worries. That was really, really interesting.
Yeah.
It's gonna be wild to see what happens. It's definitely gonna be one to grab the popcorn for.
Let's hope nothing happens.
True, that's true. Let's hope everything goes.
Yeah,
let's hope
if
doesn't get investigated. Let's hope, yeah.
If Binance tanks,
even though I think
that's going to be really bad.
I do think it's going to be a bit of a rocky road. I think that's very possible.
I'm in the boat that I think it's just FUD. He just didn't help himself.
There's a lot of
FUD.
Interview
today. That interview was bad. So
yeah, that came off sketchy.
I think he has pretty polished English, but I still think there was a little bit of a language barrier with the interviewer, where she was asking questions and he just wasn't clear enough with his responses, or she just did not understand exactly what he meant by some of the phrases he used. Like Deloitte doesn't know how, or the Big Four don't know how to audit crypto companies. What he should have explained is they don't know how to audit companies that are involved in decentralized finance as well as centralized. So, because that their point was, oh, Deloitte audited Coinbase, why wouldn't they be able to audit you? And then he said they don't know how to audit crypto companies. But from their point of view, they're like, Coinbase is a crypto company. Why wouldn't they, what's the difference? They don't know the difference. And he didn't dig into what that difference is.
See, that's the whole thing. There's a lot of at this stage that we're at. It's our fault. It's nobody should be blamed for this. We should be blamed for this entire structure, for how our communication standards have become. We don't dig down deeper into understanding every single detail. We want TLDR for every single thing. We want to base ourselves from the headline. It's our fault. It's not anybody else's fault. She was unhappy because she did not get the answers that she expected to get. Every single time, you don't want to listen and understand. You want everybody to fall into your narrative of how the world should be. And if somebody who does not meet that criteria, even in the slightest bit, you basically get enraged and get disappointed and hence get disconnected. That's what the problem with that Otherwise, that would have been a beautiful conversation. You would have said. So instead of her job is to get people to answer questions, right? So how can you be closed-minded when you're trying to understand something? It was a wonderful opportunity thrown away by bozos. Apologies, but yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the mainstream media. There's sound bites. You get a couple minutes, if that. There's not. I mean, what CZ needs to do is go on a popular podcast and have a full conversation, or a radio show where he can have a full conversation and
Should we
actually
invite him?
explain this
Paul.
stuff. Yeah. It's not going to cut it on mainstream television news. It's not detailed enough.
It's not sexy.
Right. I mean, it's too complicated for typical viewers to understand, so they don't deep dive.
Yeah, exactly.
What's
Nice
up?
profanity here.
Profanity?
No, I shouldn't. I
No.
should relax.
Keep it clean. We have 1,000 listeners on YouTube right now. What's up, John?
What's up, family? Good to see everyone.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Did you finish the gym?
No, dude, I just got off work.
Oh shit! Better hit that sauna then.
I know, dude, and I don't feel that sick anymore. So now it's like I have no excuse.
Let's go. Stalin, I remember you were gonna ask something. Yeah, I never got that
Go ahead,
question.
man. For sure.
Oh, you were gonna ask something before coffee cut you
Oh
off.
yes, thank you. So this was a question for Jack. By the way, what's going on, John? Always a pleasure, my friend.
Pleasure, buddy.
So Jack, I wanted to ask you about this Radium hack. So for those that don't know, Radium is the number one DEX on Solana. It looks like admin keys were used to essentially withdraw funds from liquidity pools illicitly. So maybe Jack, you could speak more to the specifics if you're familiar with this situation.
I just found out, honestly. I just found out in the morning that the Radium got hacked, and I closed. I didn't even look at anything. It simply said Radium got exploited for $2 million. But all right,
It's relatively small for them though, as well. It's not a deal breaker.
I mean, yeah, it's just, yeah. The last thing you want in Solana is for an exploit, but nobody talks about
That's
this
true.
on Ethereum, because every day, like while FTX was going on, how many hacks have happened on Ethereum protocol? I don't know. And you were saying this is an inside job.
Well, maybe not. For 2 million, probably not. The fact that admin keys were used to sign makes me think that either somebody had really shitty security protocols, or it was somebody that had access to the deployer wallet at one point in time, and was like, fuck it, I'm gonna lift 2 mil from one of these liquidity pools right quick. So the vibe that I get when I see deployer contracts being used like that. Sure, it can be exploited in some other way, maybe, but it does seem like this was a signature by a wallet that would have been controlled by the devs that deployed the contract. Is the gist of the third-hand tweet I've read. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't say for sure it's inside job. It's just rank conjecture and speculation on my part, but I certainly get that, and that's kind of my knee-jerk reaction in him. This is a quote-unquote exploit in DeFi. Often it is the team.
Isn't it?
But who knows? I believe wasn't Radium like heavily incubated by FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried personally in some capacity?
No, not.
Was that
Radium.
Serum? Was that Serum and not Radium? Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. I saw Gaze was trying to come up on stage.
This
I'm here.
It's man, these stages are so weird. Someone have to request, you have to invite them, and they have to accept. Like what? This is 3FA.
This isn't Twitter. This isn't Twitter.
We're back on Twitter tomorrow. Monday, definitely, we're back on Twitter. Cool, guys. I think we'll wrap this up shortly, or you can stay if you want to. But we're gonna wrap up the recording and stuff. I got some stuff to do, and then maybe someone else. But maybe we can Coffee and Stallion. You've been here the entire time. I know Jack, you're working on some stuff. Do you want to have any last alpha for the 1,000 people on the live stream right now?
Yeah, we're launching Atlas Wallet. We're announcing it today. This is the new
what?
Yeah.
Tell us more. Give us the scoop.
The scoop is just I don't want to call it a wallet, but there's no better way to describe it. It's a Web3 platform where effectively you can connect your existing wallets, and you can connect your existing wallets and own all the assets. But at the same time, if somebody who is a non-crypto user or even a crypto user who wants to set up a wallet, they can do that. The main thing is, the first main feature that we're launching is effectively you never get drained again. This is going to be multi-chain, cross-chain wallet where you can buy any asset with a single asset. With one click. So for example, if you want to buy an NFT on Cardano or HBAR and you don't have a wallet on HBAR and you have Sol in your wallet or ETH in your wallet, you could effectively make that happen with single click, never have to worry about whether you need to set up your hash.
Oh my, I'm bullish as fuck on that, man. That's really, really cool. I mean, right on for making an onboarding tool. That's really, really powerful. Congratulations,
yeah, exactly.
man. By the way, always a big fan of anything that Jack is building. He's one of my favorite builders in the space.
Jack, when you coming to HBAR?
They're coming, man. They're coming.
So we're everywhere and we're nowhere. That means is that we are our NFT generator currently, which is in public beta, already works for dev. So if you want to create your NFT, generate NFT and metadata, that already works for dev. You can use it today. And soon it's the Hyper Launchpad will also be available on Hedera. So it's already there. And plus, this entire wallet system will effectively work as well. Across, so it's going to work across 12 different layers.
I don't know if you're cutting out, Jack. Are you still talking or?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Cool, Jack. All right. Let's see. Announcement coming soon. All right, let's go to Stallion then.
I actually want to give a shout out to Lehman Swap and everything that they're building. Congratulations. Another successful mint this past week. And really, really optimistic for the future of that protocol. Having had a chance to speak with the team, speak with the developers on several times at this point. They're great. They're building something really, really special, and I think it's gonna do more for Hedera DeFi than anything else has to this point, and I think more than most people realize. Just the importance of having price stability that's reflective of what you would be paying on a centralized exchange is going to be a critical part of making DeFi on Hedera viable, which is still very much in its infancy. DeFi has not been live. DEXs have not been live on Hedera for even 6 months yet at this point. So definitely really, really bullish for Lehman Swap. and excited about our partnership with them with Gangster's Paradise. Just one quick note on Gangster's Paradise: we are in the process of finalizing the metadata for our whitelist NFT for the Gold Member Pass mint. We will be distributing those probably early next week or so, and then that mint will probably be probably be the week after Christmas is what it's looking like. So that's definitely going to be a cool one. So for anybody interested in Gangster's Paradise, definitely come check us out on Twitter. Gangsters_IO is our handle, and come join us in Discord as well.
Cool, man, love it. All right, what about coffee? We got
appreciate the shout out.
Stallion.
Yeah, appreciate the shout out for Lean and Swap. Not a huge amount of alpha. We'll be running another round for our pre-sale. We're thinking the 28th now, which is not this upcoming Wednesday, but the following. So take a look at that. If you haven't participated yet, feel free to check us out on Twitter or our Discord, and let me know if you guys got any questions or anything.
Yeah, cool, man. Thank you for hopping in the Discord, the VC or the stage as the spaces were rugging us. This has been nice. Really nice. This has been like I've been very relaxed on stage. Like we said, it gets very hectic. Here you can just sit back, connect. What about you, John? Is there any ping things happening? You're moving to HBAR as well.
Yeah, a lot has happened in the past week. Like
when mint?
So we want to do December 30th, but we told everyone publicly that's going to be late December, early January. We really want to do the ice machine first to make sure that's good, so that way we give more back to our Solana holders before pushing that out. But I also pushed out a major announcement this morning on the Discord that the collection details are out. The only thing that's not been finalized yet is the actual date. But 3.3 collection, 2.2 will be minted on Hedera. The whole collection's on Hedera. 1.1K will be distributed out to and available to Solana people. So if you're a whale, you get it airdropped. If you're a King Ping, it's airdropped. If you're a Roman, it's airdropped. And then if you don't have that, then you can mint it using ICE. So that way ICE will be more valuable to people who've been holding for a while. And then I'll give you some alpha that I haven't put out yet because I'm supposed to put it out in 10 minutes. So no harm, no foul. But the dummified and the hyperpaying, you're going to be able to burn them for ICE. So if you own 2 dummified, that'll actually give you enough ICE to actually mint one of the gigapangs. And then if you buy 5 of the hypers, that's what's good. That'll equal out to 1 gigaping being able to be minted for 1. So the total amount for it to be minted is 1,000 ICE. So yeah, that's going to be what I put out in the Discord in 10 minutes from now.
Early access,
Cap. The whole point of Ping Labs is 1 collection on Solana, 1 collection on Hedera. We go from there. As you guys already know, we already publicly announced that there's going to be a rev share of some sort. What that's going to be, I'm not allowed to say yet. I want to say probably by Monday or Tuesday we'll have a better indication. We have 4 ideas in mind, but it all depends on the groups of Hedera we talk to and the amount of funding that we may or may not get.
Let's fucking ping.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been with the Ping Labs team for 1 month now, and I just want to keep making everyone in Solana feel more proud than ever to being a member of the Ping Soul collection. That's why I signed up. So hopefully I keep bringing more to the team and bringing more value to everyone that's a holder. And I want to keep working for all of you.
Thanks, man. Love it. All right. Friends, when can we get unified?
Oh, shit. You caught me, like, very far back in my chair. It's the first time I've woken up at this time in forever, and I can feel it. It's like I'm what is called. I have like jet lag, even though I haven't flown. Anyways, when can we get unified? We're gonna do a whole unified pitch here.
Keep it short.
Basically, me and Adam and a couple other people, we are creating a thing in which we are trying to, we're creating an advisory agency connected to a recruitment agency and like what I like to call it a development agency, in which we are basically creating professionals who are, moderators, community managers, Twitter space speakers, etc. in this space, and we're making them realize their potential while also, giving giving projects, teams from our quote unquote community advisory agency, and they'll we'll be basically creating talents from here, and we want to give people passion. Like, we want to give people passion. So we want to create a really passionate team of moderators, community managers, etc. So project owners, they don't have to go through these 100 tickets where it just says, I'm a moderator in 50 different communities, and I've done this and this and this, and then they come in, there's no passion, they're just there for the money, etc. We want to create passion, and really, we want every community to be able to have it, basically.
It sounds like if anyone is looking for a job, they should send a DM to France.
Definitely, and I'll give you a better introduction to what it is as well.
Love it, love it. All right, do we have any? Oh shit, Barrels is here. What's up, Barrels? You're late to the party, bro. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Sorry. Do we have any pod alpha? Nah, dude. We're just gonna keep doing these hopefully spaces on Monday. Oh shit. Yes, I have some pod alpha. There is. I'm speaking to a guy. We're gonna have a pod HBAR Friday, hopefully, but a HBAR spaces, possibly with the Hedera team, the Hedera account. So,
is it the HBAR Foundation account or the Hedera?
The Hedera, baby.
Well, that's gonna be cool. Who is your contact there?
The guy that manages the Twitter. We've been speaking on Twitter and then mailing a little bit. These guys are, it's serious when you get into the mailbox instead of the Twitter DMs. We're gonna try to set something up there and get to talk to the team on Hedera about this Shane, the big boss. So we'd love to have, especially you, Stallion, but the HBAR guys there to help, because I don't know anything about this Shane, unfortunately. So, if I were to,
I would be happy to engagement for that space.
That's good. All right, guys. This has been nice, really nice. Thanks for coming. And if there's still someone on YouTube, thanks for listening. Hope you found some value if you're listening to the recording. We'll be back on Monday. Not sure who's joining us, but someone is, and it's gonna be good. Hopefully, Spaces is back. We can be on there instead of sitting in here and streaming on YouTube.
Have you guys ever used Clubhouse at all?
Oh, no,
I was there this morning.
No fuck with all that. No.
I was there this morning when I was trying to find.
Is it coming back? Is it coming back? Did people jump ship back to Clubhouse the day Twitter Spaces go down?
Did you hear?
I mean,
did you hear about Spotify Live?
No, man. What's up?
Oh, sheesh.
They've created, like today, they've created, I don't know if it's always been a thing, but so many people are on Spotify Live. Oh, and basically it's the same as Twitter Spaces, but it's with Spotify, and yeah, like Amy Street is holding one right now with about 100 people listening.
Oh shit!
Wasn't it called the green room? It was green room before, right? Spotify green room.
Maybe, I have no clue. Right now it's just called Spotify.live.
Bro, whoa, we gotta check this out. We are like, we are Spotify in Solana space, aren't we?
Yeah, it's only until Twitter Spaces is down. After that, everybody comes back.
Definitely.
Let's check this out. Spotify Live. All right, guys. Let's get out of here. Thanks for today. If anyone want to stay, feel free. If in the chat, but can I play music? Fuck music today, maybe. It's Friday, but you guys. Talk to some of you later. Ciao, amigos.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Hi,
Later,
fam.
guys.
It was good talking to y'all. Seriously, miss y'all.
I'm trying to play music here.
You got it.
It's your favorite song of all time, isn't it?
It's unfortunately not really picking it up, Adam.
I think you need a go acapella.